Hello and welcome back to my channel, Stitch It with Rachel. My name is Rachel, and this is finally my 2025 knitting plans and make 9. Yes, I'm aware it is mid/end of March, but I still really wanted to make the video, so hopefully you guys still want to see it, and let's get right into it. So my make 9 isn't a super specific, like it's not specific patterns. It's more like general themes. That's just a lot more realistic for me. If I tell myself I have to make this, specific pattern and then something else comes along and steals my attention, that's just really how things roll realistically for me. So, general themes and ideas, techniques I want to learn, that kind of thing. So that way I still have goals to work towards, but I have some wiggle room and creativity to kind of do what I want within that. So, I do have my iPad down here to help keep me on track so I don't forget anything. So, if I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing. And let's jump right into it. So the first thing on my make 9 is I want to knit 12 pairs of socks, kind of one per month. Ideally, I'd also love some of those to be color work. I have been doing this. I already have 3 socks finished for the year, and it's March, so we are on target. One of them was a cabled sock. It was the Hibernal DK, and then 2 of them are just my vanilla socks that I love to do. I have both of Stone Knit's colorwork sock books, and I've yet to actually knit anything out of them, and I want to so badly. So I definitely want to make sure I knit one of those. And I also have Summerly Sock Project book, and I'd like to knit either like a lace cable or colorwork sock out of that as well at some point. So nothing super specific. Again, just some general, like I want to knit 12 socks and throw a little colorwork and cable and lace in there too. So next up on the list is I want to knit a textured garment, and I'm working on the Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow slash the Crayabea. And that's definitely like a texture garment. So I'm going to kind of count that because I'm definitely going to finish it this year. But ideally, I'd like to also knit another one. But based off of everything else I want to knit, that may not happen. So Cargill can count as my texture if I can't get to another one. And that's going really well. I'm just about to, when I'm done filming and editing this, I'm going to do the tubular bind off on the hem of the body, and then I'll be on Sleeve Island. So that's super exciting. But if I can get into one more textured knit for the year, I'd really love to make either the Staffen by Rebecca Clow, the Storm Sweater, or the Jenny Jacket. I would love any and all of those. Someone at my knit night just wore their Storm Sweater, and to see one in person, and I was like, really want that. But I really like the Staffen as well. And I want the Jenny. I want it all, guys. Like, I'd love to just be a stay-at-home knitter and just have time to do it all. But alas, that's not going to happen. So those are my texture garments I'd really like to make. The Staffen I would consider either the cardigan or the sweater. Jenny jacket I would definitely want to do the cardigan, and then of course Storm sweater is just the sweater. Next on my list is I want to finish designing my tank top that I started last year, and make another sample. And so last summer I was looking for, summer, I was looking for a tank top pattern, and any of the ones that I found that I liked were not size inclusive. And I just got really sick of it. So I said, screw it, I'll just do it myself. And so that is in progress. I set it aside to hibernate over the winter while I worked on Christmas knits and things like that. And I just pulled it out the other day and started working on it again. And I'm so excited to get to wear this. I only have like maybe 4 inches of the body left to do, and then figure out what I want to do for the edging. Originally, I was thinking I-cord, both for the hem, neckline, and sleeves. Um, but we'll see. I need to play around a little bit with that. But yeah, I've got 4 more inches to knit and then just some I-cord. So that could easily be done potentially really soon. And I'm super excited. So, and then I'd like to do another sample so I can fine tune the pattern. And I'd also really like to work it in a different yarn. So I'm using Lion Brand True that 100% like viscose bamboo, for the first one, and it feels magnificent on skin. It's silky and cool, and it has a nice weight to it without being like heavy. Really, really enjoy it. But I have no idea how it's really gonna like wear over time, if it's gonna stretch out and get like holy and gapey, or all those kinds of things. So I'd like to knit my other sample in another yarn. I'm not really sure what yarn to use yet. It's a sport patterns written for sport weight. And a lot of the summery blends that I found that I like are DK. Like I could probably finagle numbers and make it work, but like I've written pattern for a sport weight, so ideally I'd like to just do it in sport weight. So if you have any sport weight summer yarn fiber recommendations, please drop them in the comments. I'm looking. Yeah. Next we have, I want to knit a cardigan. I still have yet to knit a cardigan, and I'm definitely a cardigan girl. I wear them more than normal like sweaters, just because I tend to get hot, and so having an easy like on-off layer, I just really like. So I have yarn for a cardigan already. This is Drops Nepal, and it's in this really gorgeous color. Of course, it doesn't give you the actual name. It's 8907. I want to say it's the color Mist or something like that. But this is for the Step by Step cardigan by Florence Miller. I've had the pattern and the yarn for ages now, but I've been wanting to finish my Cargill before I cast this on. So I'm excited about that. And it should be a really simple stockinette. I'm not too worried about the construction. I think it'll be pretty simple, even though I haven't knit one before. And I'm really looking forward to having one. Of course, by the time I finish this, we're going to be in the probably depths of summer here. It's going to be like 106 degrees. But it'll be ready for me come fall and next winter. I also really want to make the Lemoncello cardigan by Kutavikika or Veronica Lindberg. It's in her new book that just came out, Knits to Wear. And in the book, it's this really like buttery, soft lemon color that's really pretty. Yellow does not look good on me. But so I went hunting around and I found some really beautiful yarn in this gorgeous pink color. This is Knit Picks Andean Treasure, which is an alpaca DK weight, and then their Aloft, which is their silk mohair. And I'm not normally a pink girly, but I think this is just going to be stunning. And then with the cables and the lace, I'm really excited for this. And this is so soft and just like delectable. Like, oh, it's just a dream. I really want to cast this on like this week. The color is like warm and soft and springy and feminine, and the pattern is kind of feminine. It just feels very like spring, but I'm resisting the urge and holding off until I have time. Like I said, I want to finish my Cargill sweater before I cast on another large garment. So once that's done, I'll cast on a cardigan. Part of me thinks I should do the step by step first because I haven't knit a cardigan yet, but I mean, it can't be that hard, right? So we'll see. Regardless, I really want to make both, but I would be happy if I at least made one this year. And yeah, on to the next. Let's see. I really want to knit a colorwork jumper. This is just a store-bought cotton one. My mom got me. She was so cute. She got it for me. She said to hold me over until I make my own, which I really loved. So when I got back into knitting, and I was like scrolling through social media and Pinterest, and one of the first sweaters I saw was the porcelain sweater. Became absolutely obsessed. I bought the pattern. It was the first pattern I bought. And I started reading through it, and I was like, ooh, maybe not yet. Maybe not yet. So it's been in the back burner. It's been in the back of my mind. I still really want to make it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. The colors are perfect. I also still haven't done a drop shoulder construction. And so I think that would be really good to learn. I should maybe learn it with just a regular sweater first, but we'll see. So that's definitely on the list, but there's a lot of others I want to make too. I really like the Lumi sweater. I am absolutely obsessed with little crystals, like the cutest Christmas sweater. I can see it. Going skiing in it, going around the house, going Christmas shopping, just literally any occasion is perfect. It's cozy, it's cute, but it's not like ugly sweater, you know what I mean? Like I think it's the cutest thing. So I really want to make that one for Christmas, but if I make something like the porcelain or the Lumi, it's kind of an all year round. I mean, weather dependent, but like it's not seasonal. So I'm a little torn there. And then I also would love to make the Rue sweater again by Rebecca Clow. You can see I might have some favorites here in my pattern selection. And then the cat knit, this one just came out and the yoke has these colored cats in it. And it's so cute. I think it's adorable. I am a cat lady. I have 3 cats. I love cats. And I just think it's so adorable and would be so much fun. So I'm really tempted by that one too. I really don't know which one I'm going to make. I have no idea. And maybe some new one will pop up and grab my attention. Again, this is why I'm doing like the general theme, like a colorwork sweater. And then depending on my mood, what yarn goes on sale, maybe something like that will help me decide which one to make. But also, at least for my porcelain sweater, I do really want to kind of hold off in some ways because I'd like to spend a little extra money and buy some really nice yarn for it. A lot of work's going to go into it, and I will not be knitting it with mohair. I'm really sensitive to mohair, especially around my neck. This is mohair, but it's going to be for a V-neck cardigan, so I'm just not worried about it. It's fine on my arms and stuff. But with the porcelain, you know what I mean, it's more of a normal neckline, and so I'm going to leave out the mohair. And so I believe it's a DK weight pattern, because it's a fingering and mohair. Yeah, so it should be a DK weight pattern. So I need to find a nice DK weight yarn. I've thought about doing knitting for olive and just holding it double, either the merino or the cotton merino. Again, I tend to run kind of warm, so I'm really leaning in towards wanting to try some more like cotton blends and cotton merino blends and that kind of thing. Like I wear cotton sweaters all year round. I even wear them in cold winter. So I'd like to experiment with that a little bit more. But yeah, so colorwork jumpers. If you have a suggestion for a colorwork pattern that you've really loved or yarn you would suggest, please let me know. Drop it in the comments. All right. Number 6 on the list is knit a cabled sweater. I love a classic cabled sweater. Again, one of the first patterns I saw when I got back into knitting was the Arctic Light sweater by Kutavikika. Immediately bought the pattern. Like, had no business buying it, but I bought it. It's been sitting in my library. It's stunning. I'm obsessed. I want it so badly. But again, like the amount of work that's going to go into that, I really want to have a nice quality yarn that's going to last really well. I want to know that it's not going to pill really badly, especially with all those cables and stuff. Be a little harder to kind of like shave and keep tidy. So I'm also on the hunt for yarn for that. But I do have yarn for a different cabled sweater. What's it called? The front porch sweater. And I got this Drops Lima, and this really pretty. It's not blue and it's not green, but it's not really teal either. It's kind of definitely showing up a little bit brighter on camera. I guess maybe it's more of a teal. Anyways, I love this shade. It suits me. And I've heard really good things about Lima. I like that it's a wool and alpaca blend. I find it soft. And I think I'll be able to wear it with just tank top or t-shirt underneath. Maybe even nothing at all. So the front porch sweater, I don't remember the designer, but I found it ages ago, bought the pattern. It's really, really simple and basic. Just some basic cables and then some pearls, a basic cable, a pearl. Like, it's just really simple. But I like that it's an everyday cable instead of like a fancy cable like the Arctic Light. So I have the yarn for that. So realistically, if I'm going to knit a cable this year, it's going to be the front porch. But like, dreamer me wants to knit the Arctic Light. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would also really love to knit the Wishbone sweater, also by Kutavikika. Stunning. As well as the Ginger sweater by Adorable Knits. I remember seeing the Ginger sweater and it was stunning, but it wasn't size inclusive. And then the designer went back and redid the pattern to make it size inclusive, which I think is incredible. I love that. I love to support designers that do that. And I could not be more excited because this sweater is stunning. Like, I'm obsessed. And I want to make them all. But I don't have time to make 4 cabled sweaters this year. So, yeah. I want to knit a cabled sweater. Realistically, it's going to be the front porch because I have the yarn for it, unless I use it for one of the others, potentially. But yeah. Moving on, next we have, I would really love to knit another shawl or scarf. I just finished the Festival of Stitches shawl. It's called a shawl, but it's really more of a scarf. We did a knit along at my local yarn shop, and it was so much fun. It turned out beautiful. I should have worn it for this video, but I had a blast, and I have worn that more than anything else I've hand knit. And so I'm like, okay, I need to make some more scarves and shawls. Like they're really easy to wear for me. And so I really want to make at least one or two more this year. I have yarn left over from when I made my first sweater, my novice sweater. And it's Uru yarn by Knit Crate Electric. And it is 40% Yakua alpaca. Sorry, I definitely did not pronounce that correctly. I'll spell it out in the description or something. 30% wool and 30% Surrey alpaca. Super warm, super cozy. I knit, like I said, my first sweater out of this, and it's really nice, but it is itchy. I don't know if it's the wool or what, but like I cannot let it touch my neck. I have to wear a mock neck underneath. So I just find that sweater doesn't get a ton of wear. And so I'd really love to use this yarn for something else. When I bought this, it was on super sale from, Lord, I don't even remember where I bought it from, but it was $50 for 10 skeins. Yes. And so I bought 20 because that was rational, right? Like, but also $50 for this nice yarn in a sweater quantity for me, like I just couldn't beat it. So I bought way too much. But I'm not going to make a sweater out of it because it, excuse me, I find it itchy. And so I thought a shawl would be really nice. Not necessarily a scarf, right? Because again, I just said I don't like it touching my neck, but like a wrap on the shoulder shawl, like a house shawl, aka wearable blanket, especially with the alpaca blend. It's going to be super cozy, super warm. And so I think that would be really nice. And it'll also get some yarn out of my stash. Really looking to use up as much of my stash as I can this year and be intentional. Like I've bought sweater quantities. I want to use those sweater quantities before I go buying more. So that's the goal. And there's a couple shawls in mind. So the Woodland Retreat in the Almenia shawl by Lisa Hands. That's the same designer that did the Festival of Stitches. Her pattern was so incredibly well written. Like I would knit anything from her. Like I am so impressed by the pattern writing. Her designs are stunning. I went and stocked like her entire like Ravelry store. And there's a whole bunch that I want to make, but these two like are really beautiful. They have that little bit of cable, but it's not too much because this is a dark yarn. I don't want all the details to get lost. So a mostly like simple, but then with like a little detail there on the sides. I think it'd be really pretty. And just a great thing to have around the house. And of course I could wear out and about if I wanted to. You know, if it's cold and I already have like a high kind of neck sweater on that is comfortable for me, I could definitely like wrap that around then. Just have it as an extra layer in the winter. Yeah, so really want to knit another shawl, use up that yarn. There's another scarf I want to knit, but I don't remember the pattern name. I didn't write it down. Oh, wait, no, it's Color Block by Justina Lorkowska. She's the designer that did the leaflet scarf that I knit a little while ago for my friend for Christmas. And it's a really simple, asymmetrical, like on the bias, like tip to tip sideways shawl. And it's meant to be knit with 10 mini skeins and then one like background base color. So you do like a mini skein, and then you do like, I don't know, 2, 4, 6 rows of white or whatever color you want. And then you do a mini skein and then you do those little bit whites. And so it just makes this really simple but striking shawl. And I believe it was knit in garter. It was either garter or stockinette. And it was just really, really pretty. And so I figured I could either use my scraps from like sock knitting and stuff like that for this, or I could get some mini skeins and do just really pretty mini skein scarf. That would be a lot of fun too. So that's another scarf project. 2 more to go. Next on the list, I just have mittens in shouty capitals with exclamation points. I became a little bit obsessed with mittens this winter. I didn't actually knit as many as I wanted to. I only knit 3, but they were so much fun. And I bought a couple books and I have a couple patterns in my Ravelry. And I just really, mittens to me are kind of similar to socks, really, in their construction and the needles that you use and the site, you know, it's all like very similar. And socks make me very happy. Mittens also make me very happy. So I would really love to knit more of those. And that's a nice like winter project I can work on in the summer. Like having a full-on wool sweater in my lap in the summer isn't always desirable, you know, but like mittens and socks I can work on really anytime. So I want to knit. There's a couple specific ones that I would like to knit. Like to knit. Slow down, Rachel. Slow down. Let me take a drink of water. Okay. I would really like to knit the songbird mittens. They're just stunning and striking. I love blue and white. You might have noticed this by now. And yeah, I just have to make them. I did buy the yarn for them already. I believe it was Drops Nord that I got in just a pretty like royal blue and white. Follow the pattern exactly. Super excited for those. I'd also really like to knit the Alma mittens. I believe that's what they're called. Florence Miller made a couple of them and made some videos about them. And she switched out the cuff and she does the Latavian braid and then the corrugated ribbing and then the Latavian braid. I think it looks fantastic and would love to copy her and do the same thing and knit the Alma pattern with those modifications. And then aside from that, like I said, I have two knitting books. I have a big book of Latavian knits and then another knitting book that I can't remember the name of right now, but it's a really cool one. It has a lot of history in it. And those are a little more traditional, fancier. Like there's a lot more like 3-stranded color work, which I haven't done yet. So I'd love to maybe tip my toes into that later on in the year. That could be really fun and challenging. So yeah, mittens. Last on my Make 9 is I want to learn how to do double knitting and specifically for a snowflake scarf for my mom for Christmas. And I got this yarn for it. This is Knit Picks Chroma. And so this goes, I think there's even like turquoise, but it goes from like really, really pale to this dark royal kind of blue. And I'll put a picture up here. But it's a Knit Picks pattern that I found in their booklet. And the chroma was on like 50% off sale or something, like really significantly cheaper than it normally is. And it's what the yarn, the pattern calls for. And my mom loves snowflakes. She's obsessed. She's a snowflake girly. If you've been here long enough, you know that because I made her the snowflake mittens for Christmas that ended up not fitting, but that's another story. So I really want to learn how to double knit, and so this is a great way to do it. I love it because it means the scarf is reversible. So you get to do color work, but there's not an ugly side to it. So no matter how you wear your scarf, it's beautiful. The ombre, it's just, I'm obsessed. I think it's stunning. I'm really excited to learn something new. And I already have the yarn for it. That is my only planned gift knit. Like I said, this is the year of selfish knitting. Is it really selfish? No. I just really want to put time into making things for me. Luckily, all of my cousins they all just had babies, so hopefully we got a little bit more time before any more come along. I have any more baby blankets to make. Yeah, so I'm just focusing on knitting things for me. But the exception to that is the scarf for my mom, which I'm really excited to make and excited to learn how to do. So that's still a win-win. So that is my Make 9. I hope that you found this fun. You've got some inspiration maybe for things for yourself. Again, if you have any like yarn recommendations for things I talked about, please drop that down in the comments for me. And I hope you guys have a great afternoon.